Hello, everyone. So, welcome to class 5. Let's start with a prayer to the Supreme God, to my spiritual teacher, to all the spiritual teachers, holy masters, all the saints, holy angels, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones. We humbly invoke for your divine guidance, divine love, divine blessings, for illumination, for divine oneness, divine bliss, divine help, divine health, and divine protection. We thank you in full faith. So be it. So in last class, we learned a lot about surrender. If anybody has any questions about it, we can always talk about it. Otherwise, I want to talk about a little more about chanting, and then the importance of a spiritual routine. So basically, what I think I spoke even in some of the last few classes, that we are measured by the consciousness uh, consciousness that we are vibrating at. Consciousness means, let's say you can say the energy, and that energy also gives us an equivalent amount of awareness. Awareness in the sense, a sense of understanding, to know to know what to do, when to do, how to do, a sense of understanding of the world, the eternal truth, and everything, the wholeness, the knowledge at a holistic level, the truth about everything. So that sort of awareness slowly starts coming only with consciousness. As the consciousness continues to raise, only then that kind of awareness comes. So wherever, in whichever consciousness we are, that is the level of understanding we have. For example, a first standard student has whatever knowledge he has based on the exposure that he has got. And then let's say a 10th standard student may have a different level of knowledge. So for any problem statement, for any given problem, how will a first standard student behave, and then how will a 10th standard student behave? It is very different, right? So this is where we come to the concept of raising our vibrations. So what is our true goal? Our true goal is self-realization. So we'll have to keep attempting to move towards self-realization, at least from an intention point of view. So from an intention point of view, if you're moving, so to that extent, all the activities or all the thoughts, all the emotions that really connects us to that highest version of ourselves or God himself is something that we'll have to keep choosing at all times. So it may be chanting, it may be puja, this, that, or it may be reading books of God, where you're reading all of this Ramayana, Mahabharata, or Bhagavad Gita, or any religious books for that matter. I'm not really going to be very specific about this religion and that religion, because this is not a religious class at all. This is more holistic in nature, and we are not focusing on any religion. But I'm just going to be talking about what I'm familiar with, which is more coming from a Hindu point of view. But that doesn't mean that I am not in favor of others or something like that. So please understand that just because I quote examples doesn't mean that I am for something or against something and all that, right? So anything that connects you to the divine is always going to raise your consciousness, because it is a highest form of energy that we are connecting to. And where your focus goes, energy flows, right? So if your focus is on the divine, for example, you can look at any materialistic object and think of the divine behind that object. Because in the first class also, we've seen that everything is made up of God. So the raw material is nothing but God. So if you focus on the raw material itself, right? Even when you're looking at materialistic objects, even if you're looking at the sansar or the world and thinking about God, then the same exercise becomes more meditative and the same exercise becomes more divine. It doesn't mean that only when you do typical rituals or puja or this or that, it actually makes you that. But to be very honest, the way we have trained our mind, or the way we have led ourselves for a very long time, we kind of detach God and then we go to the world. Typically, we don't really think about the world when we are interacting with people. We don't think about God when we are interacting with people. We typically don't think about God when we are very busy in the kitchen or when we are cleaning the house. It comes with habit. To some people, it comes with habit, but on a general basis, it doesn't come to everybody. So one way is to basically, why did religion come into picture? Religion is something to be honored also. Of course, you may have to think about the reason behind every ritual rather than basically focusing on, oh, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do, then we have to do this, then we have to. It's not about that. It's about what is the bhav behind it. So always remember, it's not the action that is very important. It is the intention behind it. It is the kind of feeling that you have behind it. So if your intention was to basically connect to God, how much ever quality of that intention was, whatever quality of that action was, that much of mind progress will already happen. So it is not like, even if you have to think, let's say you're doing some God related work, even wherever you touch, right? It doesn't mean that you have to get there 100%. Even if you're getting that 10% of it and less rest of it is distracted, at least you got that 10%, right? So if not for zero energy, you started at least with 10%. So typically what happens, the way energy flow works is, if you have already focused on investing 10% into an area, there will always be a push from the universe to keep investing in that area. It'll prompt you to invest more. It's like all of these Facebook algorithms and Instagram algorithms. So let's say you start liking some post. What happens? Next time it'll keep prompting similar posts for you. So the same thing happens in the universe as well. You can actually, of course, Instagram, Facebook, everything is a part of the universe, right? So, so many times you'll be thinking about a certain subject, or maybe you'll have a certain problem in your life. Suddenly you open Instagram or Facebook or WhatsApp, somebody would have sent you that message, or you read somebody's or you hear somebody's podcast, the same thing will be talked about there. So many people say, right, this was actually meant for me today, this was actually meant for me, and all of that. So it is that law of attraction that we are talking about. So why do these things happen is because there is a unwritten rule which says that if you focus on a certain area, you will continue to be pushed to focus on a similar area until you retract back from that area. You let's say you get back on the 10% and you like, ignoring is equal to retraction. If you ignore, for example, you've already invested so much on an area, but then you don't pay attention to that area anymore, obviously you will forget also, right? So there, in my case itself, I can give you examples where I have literally done a lot of sadhana in some of these areas, in some of, let's say, some saint, towards some saint, or towards some god or something, some mantra or some shloka or something. I would have literally by hearted. It will be literally in my heart, my blood, and all of that. But then after so many years, 2, 3 years passes, and you not put energy in it, I have forgotten. But then, yeah, if I start to pick up, maybe the speed at which I may pick it up is not the same thing that I put last time, but it'll be faster. But for the first time when I read after 2 years, obviously it is not very familiar because it has now gone to the back part of my mind. And the predominant energy now is something else. My energy is invested now in something else. So, like that, what you don't pay attention to is actually going to lose focus, and it is going to sort of dissolve even as a belief system. That is what we've learned in the what do you say, skill of acceptance also, right? Unconditional acceptance means the old belief systems, what are you doing? You are basically not paying enough attention to them. If old habits surface, all that you're saying is, oh, these old habits were already within me and it is still strong, and which is why I'm actually displaying it even now. But yeah, I don't have to pay so much of attention to it. So when we saw Roshni's message in the group also, she mentioned that she scolded somebody because they lied. And Because in her belief system, not lying or speaking the truth is the ultimate thing. Because she's trying to walk the path of truth. She wants everybody to walk the path of truth because it is like a committing a sin for her. And why would you tell me a lie? I have like so many reasons why you should be truthful to me. I don't hurt you. I don't scold you. Maybe she has all these reasons, and which is why she wants that person to be truthful to her. But that person, when she did not speak the truth, she was sort of, she felt betrayed. And which is why, with that love that she had towards the maid, she actually scolded her. It was not about when somebody else is lying, let's say a politician is lying or somebody has come and then they're generally lying on the dais. We don't go and then fight with them or something, right? Typically, we don't do that. Or sometimes even even in the, let's say, the shopkeeper or somebody, let's say they're generally lying. Or you can see children also sometimes lie. Little children sometimes lie. At that time you really don't go and then become so angry with them, because you are expecting, you're like not expecting too much out of them. But then wherever there's a lot of attachment, anger intensity is also pretty huge, especially when the expectation intensity is also added to that. Because of attachment only there is expectations, and because of expectation there is that anger due to lack of fulfillment of that expectation. Because now the belief system says they have to be truthful to me, because like I will not do anything to them, blah blah blah, whatever it is. So that's a belief system. So whenever there are these belief systems, what are we trying to do? When they surface out and show themselves, we are trying to ignore them. So ignoring is equal to not putting energy. It's like I also gave the example of a plant. If you're not watering a plant, the plant will slowly die. It doesn't die overnight. It dies over a period of time. Similarly, if you're not, or even if, let's say, you're not feeding some human being or you're not feeding some animal, so any living, breathing, any active, any moving something, if it's not paid attention to, if it's not given whatever nourishment it needs, it will die. That is a concept. So whether it's a belief system, whether it's a plant, whether it's an animal, whether it's another thing, or even for that matter, objects. Objects also, if you don't use for a very long time, appliances, if you don't use for a very long time, they also don't seem to work properly. So similarly, these things where you are not paying attention to, for example, these spiritual, so what is our focus? Our focus is to constantly somehow keep connecting to God, if not in this form, some other process, some other tool. So religion has given us a lot of rituals. It can be namaz for Islam, or it can be going to a church, saying their prayers, rosary, and so many other things in Christianity. Or it can be doing puja, jap, or let's say just chanting mantras, or just doing cleaning the mandir of God. And whatever it is, as long as you put your attention and say, okay, for this 10 minutes, I'm going to just focus on this. I'm not going to use my cell or anything. I'm just going to be engaged completely into this. Just give yourself and tell yourself, on this 10 minutes, I'm just going to keep doing this. So for many people, meditation may help. But for so many people who may not be at the level of meditation, see, meditation, if you're in a karma yoga path, and if you have not become that sthita prajna yet, sthita prajna means a person who has no, who's unaffected by sorrow or happiness, who's absolutely in a um, completely stable state of mind, no attachments, nothing. He's like totally detached from the world. He's there in the world, he's communicating with everybody, he's very much doing his job, he's doing everything in the world, even let's say as a husband or a wife or anything. But he has absolutely no attachment to anything, like how Ram was. Ram had no attachment to anybody, including his own wife. Of course, there are some dramatic, not dramatic, let's say there are some areas where he misses Sita and all of those things, but as such, he is willing to let go of anything. It's not about it's not about lack of expression. It's about when that is not there, there is no change of state of mind. That is what is called detachment. Detachment doesn't mean that I will not, for example, let's say I'm very detached to materialistic objects. So I'm not going to, basically, I'm just going to be in minimalist. That is not the attitude of a detached person. A detached person will have everything with him. Even if he has everything, he is not attached to anything, which means if that is taken away from him, he is unaffected. So a person who's a Sthita Prajna, who has conquered, who has attained yoga, or who has attained oneness in seva of people. Who are these people? Seva of his own kind, his own human beings who are around him and all of that, and who's absolutely unaffected by happiness or sorrows that are related to these POSEs. Only such a person will eventually be ready for meditations and all of that, irrespective of whatever role he is in. Right? Many people in our like for example, many of our own Gita teachers and all of that, they are like they're in that parampara, whoever has come, the yogis, they are all grihast people only. They are actually, they led a normal life. They led a life with human beings. And even Lahiri Mahasaya, right? He was a grihast for that matter. Kriya Yoga principles came through a grihast only. But all of those people, at what state they were in? They were not at the state where they were into Karma Yoga. So their state of mind was very high. So it does not matter what role you're playing in life, which ashram you are in. You are either in Grihast ashram or you're in Vanaprastha ashram, which means let's say you're done all your duties, your children are all done, they've all gone from your house, and now you're like totally alone, typically in sannyas state. Typically, you're ready to go to in the past, they used to go. Even whatever state of life you are in, it doesn't matter. But what matters is, where is your mind? So if your mind is still wavering in happiness, sorrow, sadness, anxiety, fear, at least every now and then, you are very much in that first path where you still have to bring God into your awareness 100% of the time. Until that 100% of the time does not come, you can't exit this phase. You can't exit this phase. You'll know that you'll become like Mirabai. You'll become like Tulsidas. You'll become like any of one of those people who are like totally into God. Because now they're 100%, they have done all their homework. All their thoughts have culminated into God. They are playing so many different roles in the world. They are playing the role of a mother, father, let's say. They are also going to office. Maybe they are also doing a lot of community service, seva, everything that they are doing, but they are unaffected by anything because they have already done that work. Rather, they have constantly worked on themselves, and they have also practiced remembering the one who's behind each of these POSEs. So, and which is why they are stable. See, why are we not stable? We are not stable because we don't remember God behind the POSE. Oh yeah, he's the one who's bringing this POSE for my good, so that I can see where my obstacles are for self-realization. Until that sort of dawns, like for example, let's say Roshni was so angry that she was lying. But at that time, if she was a person who would be able, if she had the consciousness to be able to say, oh my God, God is behind this person, even when he's lying. So it was like, let's say Krishna is lying. Krishna is behind this person, he's lying. Or whatever it is that you bring in your awareness. And then you are like no longer, and I mean, there are so many times, let's say you think of God also, and then you're still continuing to be angry. Okay, that's, let's say, another level. We are still yet to get that transition state. But let's say there is a point where she's completely, oh my God, this is so hilarious. He's telling a lie. You're like able to take it so jovially. That is so beautiful, right? So unless we are able to get there and culminate all our POSE triggers as God, so that work in progress is definitely there. So where and how do we remind ourselves about thinking about God? The more we invest our energy in God related stuff, whether it is in the kitchen, whether it is in the puja room. So it actually matters a lot. I mean, for example, um, when after my mother died, for me, somehow chanting went off. I was not able to sit and chant. I couldn't do it. But then what came was very new. What was not there actually came to me. Suddenly, all the things that my ancestors have been doing suddenly started coming to me like an attraction. And what I did not want to do started coming to, I mean, in the past, I have had the thoughts that I'm definitely not going to keep doing all. There were some parts of let's say the lineage that I have grown in. I was not very interested in all of those things. But then I started becoming interested in all of those things. And how did it start? It just started with Aarti of God. When I was in my mother's house, um, rather before that, I was so much into meditation, chanting, and so many things that sometimes I would even like not be I would be okay with not lighting a lamp also to God, because for me that much of God was like so much more into everything. That was my state of mind. But then after my mother died, it was not like I was upset or unstable or something, but for some reason, let's say that there was an energy shift within me. And my sister was doing Aarti in my mother's house to God. We were all, they had also come, right? Come down and all that, right? So she was doing Aarti to God. And I mean, there was something that shifted within me. And then from that day, I said, okay, when I'm going to do from now on, I'm also going to do. And then there was one more thing that actually triggered within me, some even before, a few days back, before maybe even before my mother passed away, was in Autobiography of a Yogi. Um, you might remember, if you've read the book, you might remember that Mataji, Babaji, and I think Yukteswar Giriji, they all three meet. And then Babaji says, I'm going to rather leave my body and I'm going to attain moksha. And I don't need my body types because body has no significance. So I'm just going to leave it, and I'll be around, but I may not have the body types. So then Mataji, who is his sister, will tell, hey, body does not have so much of significance. It doesn't really matter whether you have it or you don't have it, right? So it was like a total different transformative message for me. See, when we say, oh, so much into Atma based worship, I'm not into um, idol based worship, I'm not into photo based worship kind of thing, then people actually see people who do worship of all of these photos and all of that as somebody who are lower in level of consciousness, and people who do meditations on higher level of consciousness. But it's actually the shift of the mind. It's how you see God. It is not about whether God is in the form or God is not in the form. It is more about, hey, if it really does not matter whether God is in form or not in form, it's all about connecting to God. How does it really matter? You just do what you enjoy. For me, that's when I realized I was sort of missing doing all of that puja and aarti and kumkum and flowers and all of those things, right? And then rangoli. I was actually missing all those things, but I didn't know it. That after she did that aarti, it was some new shift in me. And then I started doing aarti every day in the house. And once aarti started, some new things started getting added up like this, even without my understanding. And like that, I started getting into some complex shlokas and other things um, of in our own lineage, whatever the saints have composed, right? It sort of started coming to me. And some of the saints' pictures also came to me, like somebody gifted it to me, gave it to me, and all of that. Like all of these things came to me. And then the shlokas also came to me. I'm like, some Lakshmi stuff and Vishnu Sahasranam. I started chanting Vishnu Sahasranam every day, and that too, my husband also joined me. See, all of these things are new. Suddenly, my husband was not chanting with me, and then now he's also chanting with me. So, like this, different things got added up, and it has actually shifted my consciousness because I can feel that there is some different energy I feel within me. It's not like some energy I feel, some new, let's say, Josh I can see within me. It's like activeness. Like you can feel that energetic feeling that you have, no? When you're like tired or not exactly tired, but there was some sadness or some heavy stuff. But now you feel more lighter. So that kind of shift, as I started chanting so many mantras and shlokas and all of those things. So again, at least I've come back to 1.5 hours of chanting all those things, which I was doing 1.5 hours of Ram chanting in the past. But now God has brought me to 1.5 hours of something else. But I was okay to let go of what I couldn't do. I did not sit and crib saying, oh, I'm not able to Ram chanting. I'm not able to do Ram chanting. In the past, I would sit and do 50 malas, but I'm not able to do it all. I didn't sit and crib like that. Rather, I said, okay, they are trying to, I mean, God is trying to push me to something new. Yeah, this also seems nice. This also seems nice. Yeah, this idea is good. That idea is good. Whatever ideas just kept coming. I was just being open to it. And then I just started following, right? And now again, I'm back to that 1.5 hours. And it's now more interesting. Like at one point, Jap was interesting for me. But now, after some shift in, rather, turn of events, something else is now interesting, but it's again related to the same God. So, what I'm trying to tell is anything that connects you to God in your mind is going to bring that energy. And the more you keep investing in it, you're already raising your consciousness. For example, if you're chanting Ho'oponopono and you feel that is connected to God, please go ahead and do it. If you do chanting and that you feel that is connected to God, and the more you keep chanting, the more your antakaran becomes clean, your conscience, the conscience becomes clean. Conscience becomes clean means, how does, let's say you have a certain level of consciences, CONSCIENC, that conscience is what I'm talking about. In Hindi and in Sanskrit, they call it antakaran. Chitta, in Sanskrit, they call it chitta. So that, or chitta, then dosha, they also call it dosha in Sanskrit. So all of these, let's say the impurities that we have within us, the sense of limitations that we have, the sense of separationness that we have within us, are all due to belief systems, no? So once your awareness increase, what is happening? The belief systems are actually melting, because lower ones cannot stay, and all of that we've already told. So when you keep chanting all these things, when you keep bringing all these things on a daily basis, what happens? You're constantly keeping yourself higher. And from that higher point of view, when the POSCs are coming to you, you're able to understand and approach and respond. And even if you react, you at least know that you have reacted, and that is also for a reason. That belief systems are still there. It is not about reaction or response. Reaction is bad, response is right. So I'm like, I'm very bad, I'm reacting. That should never be the approach. The whole approach is, how do I bring some knowledge into me where I'm able to accept myself at every point in time based on certain knowledge. Why should I accept myself at every point in time, even though I have these bad qualities? There must be some reason. No, that is what knowledge is bringing to us. And to sustain that knowledge, we need that energy, God's energy. It's like you can't have somebody can't bring you the higher levels of truth into you when your consciousness is not that high. You won't understand. For example, if, let's say, a person who is generally into normal stuff, you make him sit in a Vedant level kind of class, nothing will enter his head, because he's not yet ready for that. But then, yeah, gradually he's moving, he'll definitely enter. But then of course, there are some yogis who may have just had the transformative experience where, like, suddenly the light bulb just glows and then everything just transforms. That is a different thing, because they were ready for it. That was their soul path, and that was a trigger for them to get to that state. Like, for example, Ramana Maharshi, right? He just had some near-death experience. Rather, he went into that death state, and then suddenly he understood who he is. So it was that trigger. But does that mean that everybody has triggers like that, they'll become Maharishi? No. It was just one reason that he needed to wake up in this life. It was like a lock and a key. He was locked, and then this was the key to open and then bring to the world who he was. Before that, he must have worked so much to get to this state, right? To get to a state of Aham Brahmasmi. He has I'm sure he's like literally done everything possible for lives and lives and lives. So it doesn't it doesn't matter where we are. It doesn't matter that it doesn't matter whether you're in Aham Brahmasmi state or you're not in Aham Brahmasmi state, because that Brahma is actually within you at every single point in time. So we are no less compared to anybody who has done that siddhi. It's just that if the Shastras, all of this knowledge is telling us that, hey, God is within you even now. You just have to you just have to use a different process to understand it. There, they are like, it's like there is no process. You're just seeing things as they are. But now you are basically in a different way of approaching God. In a different way, you're playing God in a different way. Right? You're expressing God in a different way. You're saying, okay, God is actually expressing himself in a limited manner, and then I am this instrument of God. If you're able to remember that I'm just this instrument of God in my current role, as so and so who has still not attained self realization, my role is just to be an instrument of God. We don't have to hurry up to become I know everything state, because you'll eventually be led to that state, because once you are a good instrument, you are a clear instrument. If we play the flute of Krishna or something like that, or let's say a stringed instrument of Saraswati, what are you trying to do? You are just letting yourself loose, or you're in a flute, you're just being very open. There are no blocks inside you. You're not causing resistance inside you. Then what will happen? Krishna will play you as a flute, and music will come out through you. And in does not mean that that music is played in a house, or whether that music is played in a theater, or that music is played somewhere else. But he can play music in any point, at any place, through you, because you are just being open, you're not so resistant and all of that. But we have to just keep trying to be all of those things. So we are just instruments of God right now, and we have to focus and be mindful of remembering that I am this instrument of God. And if I play this instrument of God, instrument of God, instrument of God at every point in time, at some point you'll become that person who is not attached to anything. It's the next level. It's the next phase. It's the next milestone. Today, we are definitely attached to our children. We are definitely attached to our husband. What if something happens to him? What will happen to me? What if my child is late from school? What if they fail in exams? What if they get less marks in exams? Which college they will get? So many different things are there in our head because we have attachments. Or what if somebody tells me all of this let's say if somebody disrespects you, you're upset. So there are so many things that actually puts us up and down, no? So we are not yet there. So the focus is to believe that God will take me to that state when he thinks I am ready. But in my job, what is my job? My job as an ego, is to learn to believe that I am a slave of God, or I am an instrument of God, where God can use me the way he wants through whatever POSCs he brings. And even if he is, let's say, making me angry, let's say in this instrument, if anger is coming out, it is again his Leela, because that anger was a block within me. Because there was a belief system that was covering that layer. And that belief system, once that belief system, God is trying to remove that belief system. Because of that only, the anger that was trapped within that belief system is now coming out as so he's trying to melt that cage for you because of that trigger. So when we are able to see God's grace, when the POSCs come to us as triggers, then so that memory, or the constant remembrance that God is basically cleaning my belief systems to lighten me up, so that I am becoming eligible to stand on my own feet and realize who I truly am. You can't get to that I am God state if you are not yet understanding the value of being God, right? We can't we can't become angry on somebody and still be God. We may be God. It's like the sun is always sun. The sun can be covered by clouds, but there is always that sun. We are always that sun. Within us, there's always that sun. But as of now, we are covered by clouds. So even when Vedanta is teaching us, you are Aham Brahmasmi, you are the Tattvamasi and all of those things, you are all that is, all of that when they're teaching, yes, 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 all that is perfectly okay. That is definitely there. But what is my current role? What should I do right now? So that should be a practical approach, right? So yeah, all that is there. I'm still definitely God. Yeah, it gives me great feeling that I'm God. But then do I have that experience? No. Why? Because God has not given me that experience yet. And for me, for me, thus when I start becoming absolutely stable-minded in every single agitated rather if the past in the past, let's say if some POSC agitated me, brought sorrow to me, sadness, anxiety and all of those kinds of things because of some limited belief systems, I'm still not there yet. I know I'm not there yet. Thanks to Bhagavad Gita, this is what I have understood. So what is my job? My job is to constantly bring God and connect to God, so that if I am his instrument, why shouldn't I only focus on him in everything, in all my roles? God only should be my goal, which is what our teachers also have taught us. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're able to remember that I am God's instrument, when I'm taking bath for him. There is one person inside me. I'm eating for him. If he's brought this variety of fruits for me, he must be so kind and like generous and all of that. Who am I here in this entire thing? I'm just a person who's experiencing as an ego. I'm still not one with God, but I'm still separated only. But I'm experiencing this. Wow, he chose me, and look at that. He's giving me a platter of beautiful fruits on my plate. And oh my God, all these fruits, so many different farmers grew it. And I don't know what all they did it for years together. They've grown all these fruits. And so many people got together and then brought these fruits, and it all came to the market. And somehow these fruits had been grown on multiple trees, and they have been picked just for me. And now they are in my plate. How beautiful it is, right? Let's say there's a banana that you're eating. This banana was was born only to serve you. So when you're able to believe that, hey, God is actually making all of this banana happen, or this orange happen, or something happen, just so that he loves me, he wants me to experience this. So, so he's the one who's giving the experience. He's the one who's making you eat. He's the one who's moving your hand. He's the one who's making you eat. He's the one who came as a spoon or your hand. And he's the one who's also making you chew on in your teeth. He's the one who's making you swallow. For example, let's say my father had cancer, throat cancer. He could not swallow at all. He had to push water and push down all of the solids inside. It was a very difficult state. So he had those things, right? He had a throat like us, everything he had. But he could not swallow anymore. Why? Because that swallowing, that action was not being done for the tool. God did not make that tool swallow. And now in the digestion also, he's the one who brings the digestive fire. The quality of digestion that happens, the nutrition that gets absorbed into each and every body, all of this is again God only. Which is why that there is that shloka, right? I don't know the shloka. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi. I don't know the full shloka by heart, but then yeah, that is a shloka. So where everything is Brahma. So when you're able to basically think that whatever I'm doing as a as God's work. I'm doing it for God. For God. He has done everything for us, and we are doing everything for God. It's not like, it's like he is giving everything for us, and then we are like dedicating our life and our actions and our everything to God. And again, even our anger is again something that he's only doing so that the instrument is dirty and the instrument has to be cleaned. So he's making some alterations in the tool. That's all we can think of. Because the tool doesn't know what are the alterations that have to come within it. What are the, wherever there is grease and wherever there is dirt in the tool, we don't know, the appliance or whatever you can call it. The appliance doesn't know. It can't see itself because it still doesn't know who its entirety is. But God knows. So let him do it. Yeah, the tool has enough artificial intelligence to basically think, oh, this should not be my state because my reference is Satchidanand state. My sense of, I have a memory of Satchidanand state. The ego also has a memory of that I am all that is state. But it still doesn't know that experience yet. Knowledge is there, experience is not there. So the best thing to do, the smartest thing to do in this current state, where if you feel that you are still having ups and downs in life, you are not stable, there is still cleaning going on, be agreeing to be that instrument of God. Be willing to let go of the belief systems. Be willing to watch yourself be shamed, or be willing to watch yourself be angry. Be willing to watch yourself vulnerable. All of those things, painful, everything will keep coming out, coming out, coming out. You should just be okay with it. Don't put energy into analyzing too much. Just put your focus on connecting to God more in all of these things I explained like before. That is the job. The job is to not analyze yourself, what is coming out of me, all of that. My job is to just do actions and connect to God. The rest of it will happen. What he is doing with this tool is none of our business. Because we have no clue what's happening. We just have to cooperate. That's all. And if that knowledge is given to us, if the ego is getting that knowledge of all of this that we are doing in the satsang, or if, let's say, Bhagavad Gita, or whatever spiritual texts that you're reading or books that you're reading, if some such knowledge is coming, it is coming so that the ego can get a direction. And that direction, every single shastra, every single spiritual book which has ever been written, is only to preach how to get rid of the limited thinking that we have. That's all. Beyond that, nobody tells you what is that state. They just describe God to whatever extent. He's everything, he's all that is, he's this, he's that. But nobody is actually explaining that state because that can't be explained. So every written stuff is only explaining about how to get rid of these limited thinkings and how to cooperate with God. That's all. So that should be our focus. And do more and more. Whatever you are getting interested in, do it. There are states where you don't want to do anything connected to God. Yes, there are many states where you don't want to do anything connected to God. That is also a state where still that suffering or that not being happy with ourselves, that has not yet happened enough. Once that it has not happened enough, feeling is there, right? The ego, right? It still thinks that I can still control, I can still find my own happiness, right? As long as ego keeps thinking that I'm still superior, I'm still superior, I'm still superior, there is nobody else better than me, it'll keep trying, and you won't surrender to anybody. There is nothing like it's like you won't go search for some help. Unless you're willing to go search for some help, like you become desperate, no, you will not really come to God. I mean, we are all into spirituality because of some desperateness that we had in our life, I'm sure. So unless that state comes, no, You may be seeing many people who may not be so interested to come to God also. And that is also okay. It doesn't mean that Brahma is not operating within them. Yeah, God is in everybody. It is just that that is the state of expression that God is choosing to use a tool for. Over a period of time, that tool also will eventually raise its consciousness, and then we'll all grow to that level. So none of the state is actually bad. Everybody, as much as possible, whatever awareness you have, believe that you are a tool and it is happening. As much as possible, learn how to follow a non-resistant path, not interfering in God's work. So that is what acceptance and surrender is teaching. It is teaching you to accept yourself the way you are, and when the pose comes and triggers and all that. But you will be in sadness. You will have people who are irritating you. You will have people who are bothering you. And sometimes there may be a timeline also attached. Like, money might be going because somebody is like literally squeezing the juice out of your life. Or maybe somebody is not studying and literally their life itself is getting wasted. All of those tensions will be there. But that is again the drama that is teaching us all of these things. It is teaching us how to go back to God. There is always going to be something that has to push you to God, because nobody has answers for problems. Problems cannot be solved. We only have to raise our consciousness to be able to see those problems as something that is necessary for us, and accept that it is coming to show some obstacle within us, and be willing to see what is that obstacle within us. If you don't understand what is that obstacle within you also, it's okay. Just say, okay, fine. Yeah, something is going out of me. Let it go. Get on with your job. You don't have to literally do some intellectual work with yourself also. Truly, even if you're a total woodcutter kind of job, you're not even literally bothered about yourself. Ah, something is happening, something is going, I'm getting angry. Okay, go. That is also okay. As long as you believe that, oh, God is working through me. Yeah, this also may be something that He's wants to release out of me. So I only pray that we all get that consciousness to be able to get back to understand that God is working through me, God is working through me, God is working through me. And this is something that is happening because of a certain reason. This issue is also happening because of a certain reason. That issue is also happening because of a certain reason. And I am okay to endure it. But what will shift you out of many of these things is the level of consciousness. As you continue to keep focusing on God and God related stuff, right? Put energy on that, like I said, literally, you will transform within yourself. And that shift in consciousness will actually start feeling that this is not at all a problem. The problem will still be there. The people will still be the same. They'll still be doing the same things. But suddenly you'll feel that, why did I even get upset about this? It is a no-brainer. It is not at all a problem. Because you shifted from within. That is what is the focus of this journey. The journey is not to make somebody get a job. The journey is not to make this happen, that happen. POSCs dance so that we can all be happy. No, it is never about that. And if we keep asking that, we will always be stuck in this world only. The whole focus is to focus on the highest, which is the self-realization, or that moksha. Moksha is out of birth and death cycle. That is our goal, the goal of every human being. If we focus on that goal, anything in between will also be yours. Any siddhi in between is also yours. So when you focus on God, you are focusing on your moksha. And if you're focusing on your moksha, everything that is necessary for you to be happy will automatically come. Even if that means my children will, let's say, study properly, then that also will come. Let's say you have to get money, that also will come. If something else has to happen for you to basically be not comfortable with this journey, that also will come. Everything will start aligning, everything will start falling into place. Why? Because now you're just focused on raising your consciousness. Right? It cannot be for selfish reasons. You work for the highest goal. definitely all the interim things will automatically line up. But there are so many, let's say, shlokas, this, that, and all, where we remember, where we know, oh, these are, will give you this, that will give you this benefit, this will give you that benefit. If we go behind, keep going behind those benefits, right? It is very, let's say we have a problem, but then if we keep focusing on those benefits, we may lose sight of the big picture. And we'll again be, because right, in duality, I think we may have discussed this in first few classes. In duality, the way it works is, if you run behind in the world some materialistic thing, or let's say some other thing, if you run behind that because that gives you happiness, some sadness or some energy which is going to balance the negative aspect of it will automatically grow in your life. It will come to surface in your life. Suddenly you'll be running behind something else. Let's say you go behind to fix some problem, some other problem will also come up in your life. So what is the focus? The focus is to basically go up. Look at the higher goal and believe that all the lower related issues that I have are because of my lack of cleansing, because I have clouds within me and I need to let go of those clouds for the sun to shine through. So when you are able to constantly remember that something is being done through me, cleaning is being done through me, God is putting water inside me, He's cleaning me, He's scrubbing me, all of that, no. It will actually make you a more focused and more acceptable. This journey will become far more acceptable for you. Okay. So there was a question in the group. Let me see what was that was. Apart from Roshni's, there was one more group. Oh, sorry, there was one more question. Just a minute. Hi, I've been listening to old recordings and new ones too. When I have an argument with my husband, I've realized that I have ego and do not want to be the silent one, but did try and see that only being silent can calm down the fight. But still, I'm not able to accept how he speaks and expects me not to make any mistakes. And I also feel that he never takes a step to calm down the fight. At once, I open my mouth and I can't shut down easily. I do not do the sadhana or chanting, which I have understood can help me be calm and not expect all this from my husband. But I am so stubborn and not making a routine where I will put chanting or prayer in my schedule. Why do I pray? Why do I give priorities to doing all the housework or seeing the phone for some time when I do get the time of leisure, but do not do chanting? Which will see, chanting is not. Chanting can become a chore to many people who's not bringing God in chanting. Anything can be a chore. Kitchen work can be a chore, or anything can be meditative. Anything can be. So unless we start slowly incorporating these concepts into our life, no, we will never be able to want to go for God. You should believe that if I have less money in my account, obviously I have to earn money to put some money into my account. That's a no-brainer, right? I have less money in my account. I need more money in my account to be able to live a proper life. Because that's how we are able to fend for ourselves. Similarly, that is how this energy works also. If you don't have energy, and then you're constantly having all of these issues and like literally no control on ourselves, and God is like constantly working on cleaning us. And that cleaning itself is like, why, what is happening? What is happening within me? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing, I don't like this, I don't like that. All that is happening within me, that only means that I don't have that energy in my bank account. And it's okay to not want to do anything. It's okay to not want to do anything with liking. We don't have to like anything to do. See, many times, why are we running behind, let's say, watching a phone or watching TV, where we are not actually thinking about God? We are just enjoying our ego. Why we do all of those things is because we think that God is boring and all of that is far more interesting. Chanting is boring. Rather, even thinking of God in anything is boring, and something with more activity, more all of that, drama and all of those things, movies and all are far more interesting. I'm not denying at all. Even I am there. Okay. But it is very important to be able to say, I'm going to just do this much. Whether I like it or no, I'm going to start somewhere. That have to, it's like I gave this example, a little child who's going to kindergarten. Does he like to go to school? How many times you've sent your child to school and they're like constantly crying and going to school? We all do that. That is what we are doing. We are like children in kindergarten. We don't like to go to school. We don't like to go to God's school. We are crying. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to do. And I want to play at home. I want to play, do all of these things. But what do we do ultimately? We send those children to school, even if they are crying. And slowly, as a child continues to cry and go, initially, whole day he'll be crying there. And then slowly, that crying will stop. Why did that crying stop? Because the energy of the play school or the energy of, let's say, all the children in the play school, that atmosphere and everything is basically now slowly transforming him to accept all of those things. He's now starting to put his energy from home to play school. Home energy is reducing for him. Before, his predominant energy was home. Play school was not even there in his dictionary. Then slowly, if you have to shift this belief system and put another belief system or habit and all of those things on top of that, you should be okay for that. While this transition is happening, initially it will be only, once you push him into school, it will be like 10% play school and like 90% home. Obviously, he is going to cry. Like, slowly, what will happen, that 10% will become 20% next day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, 15 days over. Now he's crossed 50% also. And slowly, he'll get better and better and better, which is why you should look at this energy as maths. It's like mathematics. Mathematics, it is like 2 plus 2 is definitely 4 only. There is nothing like 5. So if you are putting energy in some place, there is definitely going to be that only in your life. So if you don't like that kind of things happening in your life, you should be willing to say, I am going to go to school. Even if I don't like going to school, I am definitely going to go to school every day. Even if I go cry, you sit and chant there thinking about movie stars or whatever, it's okay. But sit and do your chant. Or if you're doing kitchen work also, maybe you can sit and do your chant thinking about Amitabh Bachchan also. It's okay. Do your chant. Slowly, you'll definitely get better and better, because that energy is now being put on chanting. I'm not like, it can be anything. You can sing also. You can even hear podcasts. You can even hear the pravachans. And so many saints are there these days. So many, I mean, literally, you open YouTube for spirituality, your entire YouTube will become flooded with spirituality these days. I mean, like I said, law of attraction, algorithms and all I spoke about, right? Make your YouTube completely full of only such things. And trust me, once you open YouTube, once you open your Instagram, once you open your Facebook, only these things will keep popping up. And only they'll all be directing you only to God. It's okay if you are constantly into reels, thinking about God for some time. At least it's definitely a state that is better than before now. You can always say, oh my God, gratitude post thing. Thank you so much, God. Yeah. Then somebody will say, energy, this is how positive energies are done. This is how you do this. Then ISKCON posts are going to come, Krishna Bhakti and this. There are so many, literally so many things that are popping up, like thousands and thousands of posts that are there. So it is just about where you start putting your energy. So a child in kindergarten, as a mother, if you are a person who has sent your child from kindergarten to school, and you thought that she has to go to school because that is good for her life and she can't stay at home without doing any kind of studies, you are okay to go against the child. Even if he doesn't like it, you're willing to make him cry and then still send him to school. You should be willing to do that to yourself also. Go to school, like it is like your life depends on it. So this is what I would tell this person. Even if, so she needs to learn to go to school. Even if you don't like it, it's okay. Do something that is connected to God, which I explained in the first part of this conversation. And I also want to know how one can be disciplined in this aspect of doing chanting or any sadhana. I have read Sundarkand and I know that it will help me calm down. And our guru used to say that read Hanuman Chalisa. And after knowing all this also, I do not allocate any time. See, this I do not allocate time is not her problem. It is the energy that she has that is actually making her do this. It's like if the bank account is, if you're deficit in your bank account, you can't say, hey, I can't buy this 300 rupees mango even in this season because I have less money in my account and I can't spend for 300, I can't spend 300 rupees for mango, 1 kg of mango. I'd probably rather buy banana, which is let's say 100 rupees. If that is it's an issue with the bank account, it's an issue with the money that you have with yourself. It's not about I can't get, why am I not able to buy a mango means you can't say, you can't ask such questions. You should tell yourself, oh, this is the problem with the energy that I have. I can't do anything good because I'm in that tamasic state. It's like we are all in Prakriti, right? We are all made up of those three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. And tamasic state is a state where you don't want to do anything related to God. It's a very far state. And Rajasic state is something where you are doing some actions for God. You may be seeing some posts with respect to God. You're doing some actions and then thinking about God. See, even a person who's a saint, Ramana Maharshi, they are also doing some actions. They are also thinking about God, even doing actions. So it's not about always actions. It's about your mind. Are you thinking about God in everything? But then the person who is sattvic, right? Who's predominantly whole day is thinking about God. So in our mind, if you are not bringing God on a predominant basis, it means that we still have to do action, which is the next state, tamas, rajas, and sattva. So if we are here in this bottommost level where we don't even want God, we don't like God, it's all boring, then we have to force and make ourselves like kindergarten students, go to school every day, whether we like it or no. Action has to be performed, whether you like it or no. Then you'll come to a level where we are talking about commitment, discipline, feeling, consistency. All those are high level words. Don't even touch those words. Don't even ask for those words. If you are not even going to school every single day, don't even expect these words to come in your dictionary. These are literally high level words for children who've been going to school every single day, listening to the teacher every single day, being dedicatedly listening to the teacher every single day, and following the homework every single day. I'm talking about every single day. That doesn't mean that he understood everything. I'm not saying that he's like this first rank student. I'm not telling that at all. I'm just telling he is going to school every day. He's showing up. He's just being diligent. As a student, he's obedient. That's enough. What is yours will constantly continue to come. Even, maybe for some people, 10% increase may happen. For some people, 1% increase only may happen. Depending on the kind of Shraddha that we have. It is okay, but it's important to constantly be moving in that direction, going to school every day. And unless we are doing that second, in the Rajas, we are able to act, chanting, even thinking of Amitabh Bachchan, chanting, thinking of somebody angry on somebody. It's okay, but you have to go to school every day. You may probably be doing puja with anger in your heart. It's okay, but it's okay to constantly do that action. Actions may be such that where your mind and action are not even aligned. Your intention may be something, your action may be something else. It may not even be aligned. It is okay. Because if we have to get here, benefits, see the benefits, see consistency as a skill coming to us within us, then discipline, organization, fine tuning. All of these are high level words which are coming at the level of sattva. It is not going to be in our experience also. That doesn't mean we are bad. Just because there are some consistent people, disciplined people, doesn't mean that they are high level or something. It is just that they did this second level consistently. They knew that they had to go to school every single day. So I hope that message is very clear. So we can't, I can't stress this fact enough that we have to do our job. If we have to go in that direction, there has to be, and in my opinion, I think this want to go to God or want to go to school also has to come, it will come again from God himself. If that is also not there, then suffering only is still there. You'll keep searching. You may complain, you may come to class, or you may rather share posts and say, I'm still getting, I'm still like this, I'm still like this, these are my problems, these are my problems, these are my problems. That phase will go on for some time. That also is cleansing only, no? God is cleaning you. Because even going to that state of to go to school also, there has to be some eligibility, no? Maybe you're still 2 years. You still haven't turned 4 to go to kindergarten also. So if that is a state where you're still in first year, you're still a baby, you're still a toddler, first year, second year, third year, you will still not be eligible for school also. At that time, that phase will still continue. At that time, at least, just keep listening to the class even if you can't apply anything. Just believe that I'm still in, I'm not even eligible for kindergarten also yet. It's okay. We have to accept every state is what I said, right? Cleansing is happening. Cleansing is happening by God because that is his duty. It's God's duty. We are his instruments. No, it's his duty. He's cleaning the appliance. Maybe he'll need another 1 year to clean you. So at least he's giving you the satsang. No, that itself is an opportunity for more cleansing. So he's just saying, okay, at least attend the recording, listen to the recording. That listening, that energy itself is also doing more and more. It's pushing you, it's taking you farther and closer to kindergarten. So anything that is related to God, including these classes, are basically connecting you to God only, because all that I'm telling is God, 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 God. The Mahima of God, I'm telling you, and the reason why we need to get to God. It's our focus, which is which is all our goal. So I hope those stages are clear. And I hope you come back to this class and listen to this again and again if doubts are not clear about why I am the way I am. So I explained about people who are before kindergarten. I have explained for the need for kindergarten, need to go to school every single day kind of experience. And then the feeling that I'm not feeling like doing some of these things are okay. The reason why we need to accept every single cleansing that is happening through us is necessary. Unless you're able to see that black thing get out of you, you didn't know you had the black thing. Let's say that dark clouds are now leaving you. You didn't know you had the dark clouds in the past, right? You thought the sun is thinking that he's shining, shining. Everybody on earth are actually getting sunlight. He's thinking like that, but he doesn't know that he's covered by clouds. It's like that. So, and we people will also basically think, oh yeah, there are no clouds. There is no sun today. So something like that. There is a misunderstanding. There is a lack of knowledge. So God is taking the responsibility because we are in that baby stage. We don't even know who we are. We don't even know. It's like when your children are very young, you don't make them responsible enough in life, right? You don't send them off on some alone to some market. You don't send them alone uh, to some, let's say, international country. Sorry, you don't send them off to some international travel. You don't send them off to some other place. Why? Because that you don't have the confidence that at that age they'll be able to independently do that thing. So much of work, so many works, right? We don't give that 100% work to that child. We don't give that 100% responsibility. Why? That is what God is thinking like that about us. He's treating us like children. Some are toddlers, some are in the level of, let's say, going to kindergarten, some are level in the school. We are still not graduates. once we attain graduation, once we are at a level where sometimes in 10th standard itself, you may be so matured that he may probably give you higher responsibilities to be able to, let's say, sit on, do something else. He may be giving you higher sadhanas and all of that. But whatever may be the case, I'm just saying that we are like those children to God and who needs to be taken care of. And parents are helping children um, with that support structure so that they become responsible over a period of time. So the God is the one who is basically knowing, he's an all-knowing person who's within us, and he's the one who's taking care of cleaning us to get to a state where we can become an independent adult like God and take mature decisions and such things, right? I'm just giving an example. Literally, God is not like that. But I'm just saying that we are like his children and like little children who are not yet in that state of responsibility. We don't know yet who we are types. So I hope that analogy is clear that it's important to allow that cleansing to happen by our parent, which is God. And um, what is your responsibility? If you have children, what is your wish when children are in your life? What is your deepest wish? What is your heartfelt wish? Is that they have to listen to us. They have to listen to us. They'll have to understand that we come from a place of um, well-wish. We have the best well-wishing thoughts for them in our heart. We are the absolute selfless people and we want their best. Even if they don't give us anything, we want the best for them, which is why we keep making them do so many things, or we keep telling all these things. I mean, don't we have that feeling in our heart for children? So we need to be that children for God. We need to be absolutely obedient to God. If we are not that obedient children right now, focus on becoming obedient to God. So today, your takeaway of this class is to be, I need to become an obedient child for God. And in that obedience, what will you do? You will keep, if you are in a level where you are okay to go to school, you have that awareness that, yeah, I have to do. And you're okay to sit there for your sadhana every day, little distraction with distraction, no distraction, whatever. Go to school every day, do it. If you're not even in a level where I can't go to school, you're even in pre-K, you're in toddler level and all that, it's okay. Just allow that, just believe that, okay, through all these experiences, something is happening. Yeah, eventually I'll get the feeling of even doing chanting. Someday I'll get it. Believe, believe that my parent is doing the right thing for me. He is taking care of me. I'm not like a person who's like an orphan or something. It's not like nobody's taking care of me or something. Yeah, God is definitely taking care of me, and which is exactly why all the suffering is still happening. So when you believe that I'm still taken care of, even if I don't do any sadhana, then someday that sense of being obedient itself is called surrender, and that itself will actually take you to the next level. So here, it's that trust and faith on my parent that whatever he's doing, he's doing for my good. If I want my children to believe that I am a good parent, I have the best interest for them in my heart, you need to also believe that God has the best interest about you, but he cannot keep you in the way that you are. He needs to clean you up. And that cleansing is what is already happening through the suffering and all the POSEs who are triggering this, that all the ups and downs are happening. One day, slowly, you'll definitely sit there and do something. Sitting, standing, somehow you'll connect to him. And then slowly, slowly, things will move on. But until we get to a level where we are absolutely, totally in love with God types, keep this I am under the care of God types, I am his instrument, he is cleaning me, that has to be the major focus. And I need to, and if you have that consciousness to be able to connect to God, do go to school every day, please do. One day you will be a good student in school also, and then you'll get good marks also, and then you'll get rank also. And then you'll be high, like topper also in state, in the country, in the state, everything will, that also will happen. Yeah, that is when you are like, you become the cream, you become the super obedient to God. All that benefits are like in the higher level. Okay, consistency, discipline, all that is because you were focusing on being that obedient student to God. Allow Him to clean you. Believe that He's has the best interest, which is why all this is happening. Even if I'm this, even if I'm that. So that is where acceptance and all comes. Okay. Okay, we'll take questions after this. Next class onwards, it's only questions. Okay, until now we had concepts, how to do it practically, all that. Okay, yeah, Anita? You're on mute. Yeah, now on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Smita, I wanted to know, like when we do endurance, we are with either if it is a desire or a fear, and if we are
Endurance, what is endurance in the sense? Acha, we are enduring the state.
yeah, we are enduring with it. That means we are with it throughout. Whereas when we surrender the fear or the desire to the Lord, we are letting go of it. Like if we are believing in God so much, then we are letting go of the fear. So these two are like two different processes, or is it like first I endure and then I surrender? Is it like that?
Why will you endure? Why are
So
you
that
agreeing to endure?
I want to go through it fully and know it fully so that I'm out of that.
No, that is more at ego level only, right? So here, how are you bringing God into picture? Like, why? Who are you doing it? Who are you willing to suffer this for? That is how focus has to come. I'm okay to even, for example, if you've seen this movie Chava. Have you seen this movie called Chava? Okay, recent.
Oh,
Okay, it's a Hindi movie
okay.
where they are speaking about this Sambhaji, Chhatrapati Shivaji's son, who was ruling for some period, and then he had this fight with Aurangzeb and all of that, Mughals. They had this total love for their own nation, Swaraj and all of that. Like how typically how Indian patriots are and all of that. So he had that total thing in his blood. And why were they, even when he was getting tortured in the end by Aurangzeb, he was okay to go through the torture. For what he asks, Aurangzeb asks, why are you going through this torture? For whom? He says, for that spirit of what Chhatrapati Shivaji laid, that Swarajya, or you can say Ramarajya also. For example, just to give you an example. Like, why would people of Ayodhya do things to keep Rama's spirit, Rama's concept of Rama's dream of Ramarajya alive? Why were they doing it? What is their, why should they do it?
It was their love for Rama.
For the love for Rama. So unless, why would you endure your own suffering and all of that? Unless you are basically willing to do it for somebody else. And you love that somebody else. Rather, you know that this somebody else is basically doing all this for me. I'd rather do also, this also for him, because this is my cleansing. This is a part of my cleansing, which he's, for my higher good, he is doing this. Everything has to culminate to that. There is no intellectual process in this. It's all about doing it for, allowing it for. You, if you make the process very intellectual, ego driven, bring logic and all into picture, it is lost. Yeah, logic I explained, but for what we have to bring all this logic? The logic holds good only when there is a person who you want to apply this logic for. It's ultimately done for somebody else, and because you have a belief that it is actually, he has the best interest in his mind and he knows the best kind of thing.
So this is also for God, and this is also like a state of surrender only.
Yeah, because you
Like
don't know
I,
better, no? It's like if like, let's say children, that is what we want our children to do. We want the children to basically trust us. And when we say do this because it's good for you, they should say, yes, that is a dream. It doesn't happen, at least in reality in my life. But yeah, that is a wish. Because we think that, yeah, if they do this, it's actually good. we are all that total children tree, working with children kind of thing. But then, yeah, I'm just saying. But God is this all-knowing person who's like, who knows everything about you. You can see a big picture about you. And if some cloud needs to get out of you because it is suffocating your growth, obviously he is going to do his best effort to get it out. And you should believe that that is happening. That is why you're willing to allow it to happen. Okay, yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Almilu, did you unmute? I'm not sure if
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is regarding my job, ma'am. This is bothering me. I'm in this job for the past 2 years, and I keep this work is actually new to me, and but now after 2 years, I do keep making mistakes, but I feel the environment is really toxic because they way beyond they blow up my mistakes, and whenever I ask my friends or my husband or anybody, they suggest like either you should learn to accept it, change there, otherwise you should quit. But I feel like I'm because of them. I started to attend this class. I'm internally looking at me. I mean, looking at myself, like, okay, I'm making the mistakes. That growth is happening, but not at the fast rate. It is a toxic environment, but that in a way helps me to. I feel look at me, look at my mistakes, and grow better. But every day is a botheration. I understand that, okay, I'm growing, but not really in a great length. But I want to decide. I don't know how to decide. Everybody tells me, but I don't have the clarity to decide whether I should stay in this job, or because more than 8 hours, 10 hours I spend there, and all the people around me, I feel like I'm more bothered by them, meaning the actions or something happening there. So I just need how to get the clarity whether to stay in this job or I should shift to another job.
See, there's nothing wrong if you shift to another job also. There's nothing
Okay.
wrong if you stay here also. But what
Okay.
you should truly understand is there is no guarantee that if you shift a job, there also you will not feel like this. You can
Okay.
shift and see because there is nothing
Okay.
wrong with that. Because everything is just an experience.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, it's not like, oh,
Experience.
if
Yeah.
I move out of this job, that I'm making a grave mistake. There is nothing like that. You can be
Nothing.
open to staying here. You can be open to looking for a new job also. But
Okay.
the only one who has to basically, all of these experiences are coming is only for you. It will come from there also. It will come from here also.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
what are they trying to teach you? They are trying to teach you if you have a high expectation of yourself. First, I mean, let's say. And
Okay.
at that time, if they say, you are not doing this properly, you have not done this code properly, you should have already known this or something, it hurts your ego. Right? I
Yes.
mean, it's natural. For most of us, it hurts our ego first.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you should
Yes.
believe that, oh my God, I already believe that I should have already known this myself.
Yes. I believe like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Mm.
but did you put enough energy into learning that in the past?
No.
May not be.
May
Which is
not be.
why that skill has not been mastered.
Yes.
It is
Yes. True.
like I said, it's maths. It's like maths.
Yeah.
Energy is like maths. If
Nice.
you have not put energy into that space, we will obviously have only that much of knowledge or that much of skill or that much of experience or whatever. So
Okay.
you should first accept yourself that and if they are being rude to you, it means that you are being rude to yourself. You're
Okay.
telling yourself that you better be knowing, you better be at this level. You are also rude to
Okay. I
yourself,
understand.
right? Because
Yeah.
you are
Yes.
now angry with somebody because they're trying to insult you. It means that you
Yeah.
already,
Yes.
hey, I already believe that I already know this. How dare you challenge me? That is the kind of attitude that ego is thinking. Because
Okay.
ego is believing that I should have already done this, I should have already known this. Internally, there is some anger also inside you.
Yeah. Yes.
Everything, there's a mixed sort of feeling. So
Okay.
first of all, when you should subtract that POSC whenever they come like this. Just subtract the POSC. Don't treat that as an insult or something. Just believe that, yes, I think whatever he's trying to tell me, this skill is not completely up to the mark within me. It's okay.
True,
Yeah, I
true,
think
ma'am.
what
True.
he's telling
Yes.
is true. And that anger that he's showing, or that disrespect that he's showing, I am showing to myself. I'm believing that I already should have known, even when I've not put that energy into that. Isn't that
Yes.
disrespect? It's like expecting your body and mind to already know it, even though that soul has not put that energy into making that body do all that. Yeah,
Yes. Yes. I understand. I
it's
understand,
not,
ma'am.
it has
Yes.
not. So for some time, give yourself maybe some 3 months and just say, I'm just going to apply these principles. If somebody
Okay.
tells me, I'm just going to subtract them out of this conversation in my head.
Okay.
And then I'm
Okay.
just going to start giving that respect to myself. Yes, I know that you have not done enough work on this. It's okay. Let's sit and do some work. And when
Okay.
you give yourself that that feeling that it's okay, even if you are not there yet, it's okay, it's okay. If they scold, what will happen? They can't throw you out of the job. Typically, it doesn't work like that.
Yes.
Some
Yes.
ego
Yes.
issues will happen, some
Yeah.
disrespect will happen, some conversations will go here and there. They'll probably give you less money. All of that will happen in that period. It's okay. And I
Okay.
have seen people going from testing job, they were literally in testing, and they
Okay.
have become, let's say, they are heading units.
Oh, okay. Super.
Why? Because of the hard work that they, and do you think that they have not undergone all these kind of ego clashes?
No, they would have
They
definitely
would have.
undergone all this.
They would have,
Definitely.
because
Yes.
from testing, if a person even has to go to development, I'm sure he would have seen a lot of challenges.
Lot of challenges. Yes,
And
ma'am.
then
I
on
face lot
top of
of
that,
politics here.
yeah, without PMP and all of that, if they have done becoming project managers and all of that, I'm sure they've
Yeah.
gone through lot of interpersonal issues. And this is what interpersonal issues are: interpersonality issues within us.
Yes. Yes.
And it's okay. Don't see them as separate. See them as your own doubts that they are telling, or your own behaviors that you are doing to yourself.
Yes.
Once you
Okay.
get that belief that, hey, they are not, it was already within me, it was already within me, and then you
Okay.
put that energy to basically learn that skill little by little. Even if it is okay, I'll tolerate this disrespect for another 1 month, and I'll, in the meantime, maybe I'll put some extra effort to learn the coding of this, put some energy
Okay.
to learn this part. Give
Okay.
yourself the time. They don't have to give you time. You have to
Okay.
just be okay with enduring that disrespect and all of that, by
Okay.
being like, chalo, it is a part of this.
Okay.
And he will keep disrespecting you as long as you have that energy. You had put, let's say, this much of energy to disrespect you in the past. That much of belief system was there. For that belief
Okay.
system to melt, you need to be okay with that. Once you're
Okay.
okay with that, ignore it, be chill with it and all of that. No, this will melt. And until
Okay.
this, once this melts, no, nobody will disrespect you. By the time your skill you would have mastered, you would have
Master.
become good
Okay.
in that development. And then, because you put that entire energy into learning a skill rather than getting worried about why is he disrespecting me. It's
Okay.
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 Because if somebody is
Okay.
disrespecting you, it is because it's your inside you only.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
POSCs have no other job but to trigger your own obstacles from within you. They are not having anything different. You are just seeing a mirror image of yourself. If they are doing something, they are bringing something. It is a message that was already within you.
Okay.
It
Okay.
cannot be any different.
Okay.
Only a realized master will not see any mirror in front of him, because it's
Okay.
over. Those mirrors have broken. He'll see people the way they are. He can
Okay.
see you the way you are, your all your mirrors, or that he can see. But he's not seeing his own mirror anymore. We have to
Anymore.
get to that state. And God is basically cleaning so that we can get to that state.
I understand, ma'am. I understand.
Yeah.
I
Do
get it.
this for
Yeah.
some time.
Sure.
It will basically balance out.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, Manju?
Good evening, Smita. So, this was one of your takeaway from the previous session only. Like, I try to follow this as diligent as possible. They're saying that discipline itself is God. So, for whatever reason, if we not able to follow that discipline, My awareness brings me say that okay, this is what my higher self wanted for today, and I'm like we should let go of this discipline for today. Just for an example, if I decide to keep an ekadasi fast, and for whatever reason I'm not able to do that, uh, but I'm not able to bring that acceptance to saying that how my higher self wanted me to be like this when I wanted the discipline itself to follow as a god. So this was like again coming as a two contrary thoughts for myself.
But you should always ask yourself, if I'm doing that 8-hour fast, why am I doing that 8-hour fast? Is like for God?
No, the Ekadasi fast. I've met Ekadasi fast. Yes, I want
Ekadashi.
to keep.
Okay, if you want to do the Ekadashi fast, what is the question? You said that you
So
can't do,
yes, I'm not able to keep it till in the evening. Say I go and have a fruit meal or something, which before even like not even waiting till 6 p.m. But I'm trying to follow this. My discipline itself is God. So I'm breaking that over there when I'm not able to keep up with my own words.
Who are you? You are anyway an instrument, no? Maybe you're not
Yes.
ready. You're like, maybe that discipline is happening. You're going to school maybe for till 6 o'clock. After that, you're still again the toddler who's not yet going to school. So
Oh,
we are not in the areas where we are not yet showing discipline. This toddler mentality, school going mentality, obedient student mentality, higher discipline, all of those, you'll be different phases in each of your life. There may be
oh,
different parts of your life where in some parts you're a toddler, in some parts you're a school going person, in some parts you're a, let's say, 10th standard student, fully like totally disciplined kind of thing. So we are at different levels. All that we have to do is basically accept that, oh, in this I'm like this, that is why I'm not able to do. That acceptance itself will bring that energy, because you are not putting energy into resistance there. You're okay with that. No, that whole concept of believing that whatever is happening through me is because it is supposed to happen. That acceptance itself is a higher state. It is only going to melt all the things.
okay.
It's a zero resistance state. And any form of resistance is actually going to add more, feed your ego, because it's against God, against what your parent wants you to do.
So I should be even able to, okay, if I wanted to eat the fruits and
Yeah.
end the fast also, it's like I should
See,
accept whatever happens.
you should have the best intentions. Okay, yeah, I wanted to I rather have the intention to, let's say, do whole day fast, but 6 o'clock I'm not able to resist, I'm eating. Every time Ekadashi happens, you keep trying. See, or you can also every day do, let's say, fasting from dinner to morning. That 10 hours, 12 hours, you can do that much also. You can start to continue to keep doing. Drink a lot of water in that period, and then slowly that fasting also will slowly start getting into your system. There also energy gets added.
Okay.
But yeah, again, intermittent fasting it depends on how ready the body is and all of that. So I'm just giving that example. But have that intention to do it beyond 6 o'clock. If you're not able to, try to do till 6:30. Slowly then go till 7 o'clock. Keep trying. Maybe do a juice instead of fruits.
Yeah, I have a doubt. It's like whether I'm breaking that discipline by giving a name that okay, God wants me to eat now. It's like I'm seeing that whether I'm taking more my higher self as a reason
See,
for
it's
me to
like
break that discipline.
what, see, sometimes we need to understand what comes to us naturally as a habit. More than your intellect. It's like the mind is saying, do this here because this is the right thing to do. It's not an experience. It's more about uh, hearsay. Oh, this is the right thing to do. Somebody said this has to be done, so I'm doing. It is definitely not that. It has not become your authentic experience that, oh, you see so many people, like you've seen, right? Oh, Ekadashi is like God stuff and we have to do. It's like into their blood. That feeling is in the blood and they do For them, they are able to do, like whole day they do. Why? Because they're not doing it because ego is telling them to do. They're authentic to be able to do it. Unless that authenticity come in your experiences, no, you'll still be failing here and there. And you should wait for that. And until that knowledge comes, if knowledge comes to you and then it becomes your literally, oh, something like some transformation happened after that trigger comes, then you will also do, because that reason to do it will be stronger. Until then, if the reason is weak, no, you can't actually do too many things. You keep trying, that's all. And then you should be okay. Oh yeah, I'm not really ready for that. That is why it's failing. My reason to do this is not very strong. Reason is actually coming from a higher place, a higher good. In that, there is nothing like that belief system is like aligned for your soul growth. Then you will definitely be able to do it. But if the belief system is not aligned for soul growth, many times that failing, going up or going down is happening. So it's okay. Keep trying. It's okay. Be okay with that up and down. Until it becomes an authentic stuff, no. We may not get to the top feelings. That is where expectations, we are having too much of expectations on ourselves at every level. We have to see, we have to come back to apply all of this knowledge. That is why I said, hope God gives us that awareness to be able to apply all this. Because even to apply, we need to be able to think about, apply all of these things. His grace is required. It's okay. Even after that, if you are able to remember, also fine. Okay? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Mel. It helps.
Okay. Thank you so much. If there are no more questions, we can stop the call. I was actually thinking many people asked for 6 o'clock call. But we have very few participants in the 6 o'clock window, maybe because they have family and other things to manage. Should we shift this back to 2 p.m.? I'm just asking this in the class in case.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, Smita.
Not too many people, although we had too many hands who were supportive of 6 o'clock, we don't have so much of people coming to 6 o'clock. But afternoon, there used to be many, because as children may not have returned from school or something like that. So let's see if we can shift this to afternoon and maybe help other people also to participate. Because if I'm depending on questions coming up in the class, then I may not have too many questions if there are very less participants. And if there are less participants, then they may not have time to actually go through recordings all the time also. So I'll just float this in the group and let's see how it goes. Okay, thank you so much. To Supreme God, I thank you for your divine blessings to all my spiritual teachers, holy masters, all the saints, holy angels, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones. We thank you for your great, great blessings. Thank you. Thank you, Hina.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.